I've made up my mind, Katie. If you can't return her to the adoption center, then I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Oh, great! Wait! Please, wait! You don't know anything about Grain, but I do.
I'm taking her somewhere safe. She won't bother you.
Susan, come back!
Katie, I'm really sorry, but if that kid's staying in this family, then I can't marry you. 3 kids, it's too much. 2 was already a lot, but now you went ahead and adopted another child. This isn't gonna work.
But Grain, you didn't really mean to do that, do you?
I do, Katie. I can't take care of 3 kids. I'm sorry. My last marriage ended in a divorce because of a fight because of our kids. And I'm not gonna make that mistake again. You either return Carol to the adoption center or I'm gone. And that's my final decision.
Grain, don't say that! You can't be serious. I can't just go and return Carol to the adoption center. I just adopted her. She doesn't have any parents. Please try to understand.
I've made up my mind, Katie. If you can't return her to the adoption center, then I'm leaving. Goodbye.
No, Grain, wait! Please, wait!
See, Mom? I told you he wasn't the right man for you. He left you in an instant and he didn't even look back. He didn't have any love in his eyes either. He just walked out.
I'm really sorry, both of you, but I'll have to return Carol to the adoption center.
Carol, don't cry. Mom doesn't mean that. Isn't that right, Mom?
Mom, you're not serious, are you? You're going to return Carol to the adoption center for that man? What do you even see in him that's so special? Why do you even like him so much? From what I see, he doesn't love you at all. He just wants a woman to be with. He doesn't want the responsibility of taking care of children. That's probably why he got a divorce in the first place.
Mind your language, Susan. You can't talk about him like that in front of me. You don't know anything about Grain, but I do. I've known him for way longer than the both of you combined. I know him better than anyone else.
Mom, I'm really sorry, but I agree with Susan here. Me and Susan can see it really clearly. He's not the right man for you. No one can replace Dad. You probably weren't able to see his red flags because you were so desperate to find a partner.
I thought I told you to mind your language. Don't speak about him like that.
Tell me, Mom, was he reluctant to stay with you after you told him you had 2 daughters?
Well, yes, he didn't like the idea, but I managed to convince him eventually. It took me a lot of effort to convince him, and he had certain conditions, but he eventually agreed.
Conditions? What conditions did he have?
He said that taking care of you both would not be his responsibility, and that I would have to do it all by myself. He wouldn't spend any time with you both, and you both were never supposed to find out that I married him. It was supposed to be a secret forever.
What? Are you serious right now, Mom? And you agreed to those conditions? How could you? It's so clear that he's not a good person if you just think about those conditions for a few seconds. He's not willing to accept our daughters? He didn't even want you to tell your daughters about your own marriage. What kind of a man asks for those kinds of conditions? This is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Emily, but I really love him. I'm returning Carol to the adoption center. I have no other choice.
No, Mom, you're not returning her. I'm taking her somewhere safe. She won't bother you. But there's no way I'm letting you return her. No way.
Susan, wait! Where are you going? Susan, come back!
I'm sorry, Mom, but I'm going with Susan too. I'll keep in touch with you, but I really hope you make the right decision. That man is not a good person. You need to break up with him.
Emily, come back! Both of you! Emily, Susan, get back here!
Thank you so much for helping me, Mom. I didn't know where else to take her, so I brought her here. Can you please keep her here until me and Emily settle all the issues with her mom?
Yes, of course. I can keep her here for as long as you want. I'm going to treat her like she's my real daughter. Carol is your name, right? Carol, you can get anything you want. Okay? Literally anything. Don't be shy or anything, all right? Treat this like you would treat your actual home.
Okay. Everything's going to be okay, Carol. I promise. Thank you so much, Rose. We really appreciate it.
I'm going to take a look around.
I'm glad I could help you. I've been really missing Susan ever since she left. After she found her real mom, the house felt so empty, but I'm really happy for her. I'm glad I can spend at least some time with her right now. We text each other and call, but seeing her makes me happier.
I miss you a lot too, Mom. You should drop by your house sometime.
Yes, definitely. But you still haven't explained to me what's actually happening at your house. Why did you have to bring Carol here?
Mom is madly in love with this stupid guy named Grain, but we know he's not a good person. Mom just doesn't believe us, and it looks like she never will. Grain told her that if Carol stays in the house, he's going to break up with her, and he left the house after that. And Mom then decided she was going to return Carol to the adoption center so that Grain doesn't break up with her. But me and Emily were against it, so I got the idea of bringing Carol here. Now, we just need to find a way to convince Mom that Grain isn't a good person.
I'm not sure how, but we'll just have to make it even more clear to her that he's not the right man for her. We need to do something that'll expose Grain's true nature and show who he really is to Mom.
But how do we do that? I mean, we don't even know anything about him except his name, and we don't know where he's going to be or anything like that.
It's simple. We just need to talk to Mom about it and ask her. We'll ask her to take us to meet him, and then we'll try to come up with a strategy to expose Grain.
I don't know, Emily. It's easier said than done, and what kind of strategy are you even talking about? How are we going to expose
We
him?
both know that he doesn't like children. That's why he divorced his previous wife. He didn't even want us to be in the family, and he only wanted to marry Mom. Mom knows that already, but she's just blind to it because she's so desperate to marry him. If we can find a way to expose Grain's personality, then it could work.
Whatever you say, Emily. I guess it's better than nothing.
How about we all sit down and talk about this? I'm sure you girls are hungry. I'll make hamburgers for you all. So just wait at the table, okay?
Yay! Hamburgers!
Hey, Susan, you called? What's up? Is everything okay? It's been a while since we last talked. What are you up to?
Nothing much. I'm glad to see you here. But, yeah, I've just been going through some problems at my house, and I might need your help, actually.
Of course. I would be more than happy to help you. What's the problem?
Okay, we adopted a girl from the adoption center today. Her name is Carol, but Mom didn't want to keep her in the house. And it's a long story, but basically, Mom has a new toxic boyfriend now. She was never even going to tell us about him, and she was going to keep it a secret forever. The only reason we found out is because we unexpectedly came home at just the right time to see them both together. And then, Mom had no choice but to tell us. And I'm telling you, that man is not a good person, and he's definitely not the man for my mom. He wouldn't let us keep Carol in the house. I mean, so since I can't keep Carol at home, I brought her to my stepmom's house. This isn't a long-term solution, though. She can't just stay with my stepmom forever, and I absolutely cannot return her to the adoption center because that would just shatter her heart.
I understand what you mean, Susan. From all the years that we've been friends together, I know how much of a kind-hearted and caring person you are. So I'm not surprised that you care for Carol so much. That's what I love about you the most.
Thank you, Bruce. It really means a lot to me. Carol is really sad right now because she wasn't accepted into our actual home, but maybe you can go and try cheering her up. I'll let you know if I need any more help from you.
Of course. I'm really good with kids. Kids love me, you know.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really sure about that, Bruce. Anyways, I need to leave now. Me and Emily are trying to come up with a plan to make Mom realize that Grain isn't actually the right man for her. If we can make her realize that, then Carol can finally come home. And Emily is really annoyed at Mom for trying to replace Dad, which I completely understand. I also understand Mom's point of view since she doesn't want to be alone, and she's been alone all by herself for several years before we reunited, and she probably really wants to have a partner, which I can completely understand. But if she's really going to have a partner, she needs to choose a better man than Grain. This is just so frustrating. I really hope she opens her eyes to the kind of man he really is.
I hope so too. I'm sure you and Emily will be able to figure something out. If you need any more help from my side, you know where to find me. You can always ask me if you need help for anything. Literally anything, and I'll always be there to help. I'm just a phone call away.
Thank you so much, Bruce. All right, goodbye. I'm going to miss you a lot.
Absolutely not! I am not going to let you two come with me. If you both come with me, then he's definitely not going to listen to me. Like I said earlier, he doesn't like children. He doesn't want to have any children in our family in the first place. Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to convince you about you both?
I have a question for you, Mom. If he asks you to leave me and Susan, are you going to leave us?
What kind of question is that? Grain would never ask me to do anything like that. He's not that kind of person, Emily. You both really don't know what you're talking about, do you? You don't understand the kind of person he is.
All right. Let's just go and talk to him. It's almost time for us to meet up. We'll see what happens when we get there and start talking. All right? Is that fair?
Fine, Mom. You really are blind right now. I really hope you're able to see the real picture soon.
So did you return Carol to the adoption center? That was the deal. You bring her back first, and only then I'll come back to the house and start talking to you again.
I didn't return her to the adoption center, Grain. But she's not at the house anymore. She's somewhere else, so you won't have to worry about her.
I hate how Mom is saying that. She should be trying to defend Carol. This is crazy.
All right, fair enough. I can start talking to you again then, but our conditions for the twins need to be discussed again since, well, they both know about our relationship now.
What? What do you mean? What else is there to discuss?
Before we continue, I need to ask Grain a question. Have you ever told Mom about your previous marriage and why it ended the way it did?
No, I didn't. I didn't think it was necessary to tell her, and I only told her the basic stuff.
So, if you're going to marry Mom, don't you think she should know about these kinds of things before the marriage? You're not supposed to be keeping secrets from your partner if you plan on marrying them, right?
You're right, Grain. You've never told me about your previous marriage, even though I've asked you about it several times. You always told me it was something personal, and that's why you didn't want to share it with me. But I think it's about time you shared it with me. What's the story?
It's a really sad story, and it's the only reason why I haven't told you about it yet. My wife, my kids, they all went against me. It started with my wife. She only married me for my money. It's all she cared about, nothing else. A few years after we got married, business wasn't doing so well anymore. Wasn't making enough. Wife started caring about me less because of it. She really only cared about the money. She didn't see the need to stay with me anymore, and she convinced our kids to team up against me. And suddenly I was the bad guy in front of the kids. We eventually got divorced because of that, and she got custody of both of them.
Oh my God, Grain. I'm so sorry to hear that. I should have never asked you to talk about this. I'm really sorry. I really am.
Are you actually serious right now, Mom? It's so obvious that he's lying. I mean, those tears are so fake too. Can you seriously not see that? It's so obvious that he's only pretending to cry.
If you don't start minding your language from now on, Susan, we're going to have a serious discussion.
She's right, Mom. There are so many things wrong with his story. First of all, if his wife only married him for his money, then why would she want to take custody of the children? Wouldn't she just leave him and the children? The entire family? If the only thing she cared about was money, just think about it for a second and you'll realize he's lying.
I've had enough of you two. You both are either going to leave from here or just stop talking entirely. No buts.
Order number 34 for Miss Katie.
I'm going to get my order. I'll be right back. Emily, Susan, you better start behaving.
Listen, you two. You both need to stay out of my way. Everything was going so smoothly until you both showed up. And now you're in my way. And I don't like that. And if you don't stop, things are only gonna get worse for you two.
So I was right. You were lying after all. You liar. I won't let you have Mom. And what are you even after? Why are you trying to marry Mom?
Isn't it obvious? I'm obviously marrying her for her money. The story of her getting reunited with you two is trending on social media. She got so much attention and money from that. Oh God, it's crazy to start thinking about how much money she has. They even made a documentary on the story. Oh, and let's not forget, she already had a lot of money to begin with. And now she has even more. Who wouldn't want that kind of money?
We'll expose you. I won't let you take Mom away from us. Never.
Well, good luck with that. I don't know if you've noticed, but she's already madly in love with me. And there's nothing you can do to change that.
We'll see about that.